All right. So yeah, we'll figure out what's going on with that PlayStation Mole stuff later. This is Lost Reavers. I only played with one character, unfortunately. I will not be playing more of this video game for reasons I will explain soon. But basically, have 4 different character types, 2 melee types. The guy with like the Jason-looking mask and like an axe is a melee character, as well as Sayuri, who's like a schoolgirl samurai. And then the girl with the revolver is ranged only, and then the other dude with all the guns and stuff on his back is also ranged only, I think. They do have like melee attacks, but they're not like focused on it. So yeah, Lost Reavers is a Wii U action, I guess you call it action adventure game, action RPG maybe. It's very grindy because it is free to play. So let's just see if we can find a room here real quick. Last time I was playing, there's actually a surprising amount of people playing this video game. Not a lot, but enough. Yeah, see, if we got about, you know, like, what is that? How can I math? Probably a little over 10 people here. We'll do the level 2 version. Although if they're in a dungeon, we might jump out. But anyways, so yeah, it's like an action RPG where you level up your character. And you get gear and stuff like that. We'll jump into the combat here first, I think. Admittedly, I do not have a fully leveled up character, so it will not be representative of, you know, I guess what would be the ultimate conclusion. But hey, you know, it's an RPG. You know, you level up over time. Let's see if these guys are going to jump into the mission quickly, or if they're just going to stand around. You know what, let's just do our own mission. That's going to be easier. This is a great night. Everything is going swell. Definitely haven't had technical issues all night. Also didn't just make a bad decision of saying, let's join a random person's game and see if they start the game. That's not a great way to do this. Well, let's go solo first. Looking for a room. We're waiting for people to, like... We'll still do Ancient Ruins. And waiting for people to start the game is probably not a great way to spend 30 minutes of our time. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and start. Even though we're alone. We may die. We'll see what happens. So yeah, basically, even though you're only a melee character, every character does have weapons, or have guns as well. You kind of have a little bit of each, and it just depends on how you're balanced. Depending on the character type you have. Each character has different sets of equipment and gear and costumes you can get. But you really don't get a lot of them. It's a very grind-heavy game. This is still maybe my 2nd or 3rd sword, and I've maybe spent like, I'd say probably a couple dozen hours in this game at this point. And, you know, I've seen maybe about 4 areas. There is kind of the, like, Phantasy Star Online thing of, you know... you play through the areas again, but they get harder. But they actually do have some differences. Like we're currently in the level 2 version of this area, and the level 2 version has different layouts and stuff. So it's not entirely the same. There's about 4 layouts to each level of the area, but they are made up of 2 paths. So there's 2 paths at the beginning, and then there's also 2 paths at the end. And so it can be any combination of those paths, which will get you different rewards. So depending on which path you get, the different reward you get at the end. And we'll look at what those rewards are in the future. I'm making a big mistake here of killing these guys. The reason I say it's a big mistake is that if you look in the bottom right-hand corner there, I have a specific amount of durability to my weapons. And if I run out of durability, I do significantly less damage, to the point that it is almost impossible to keep going through on your own. Or it's not impossible, but it just takes a long time. Most of the costumes in this game, as far as I can tell, are mainly like just reskins of like a couple costumes. At least the earlier ones you can get. Every outfit for this girl has been the school outfit, but with just different color schemes. You can pick up different items in the level, but you only have a specific number of inventory space in the bottom left-hand corner. So you can bring more like healing items and like attack plus items and stuff. But if by the end of the dungeon, you know, if you bring more than you need, it's going to fill up inventory slots, which will prevent you from bringing nearly as much stuff with you back. In multiplayer, it's not so bad because everyone shares rewards. So as long as you're able to have different people pick stuff up, then you're fine. Most of the time you want to destroy these like generator cores at the start. It's like an auto target for the aim, but you can do manual aiming. The manual aiming is okay, it's just not particularly great. This is health there. This is a key card. As you have seen probably, there's like a lot of little like obstacles that you kind of come into connection with, where it's like or not connection with, but you have to like sit there and like push this thing, or in this case like decode these. And so the key, which I don't know if I've used the key before. I think I messed up. I think I didn't want to put the key down there. But basically you have to, I think I can't pick that key up now that it's where it is. God dang it. This is mainly supposed to be a multiplayer game, so like what I'm doing right here, like dancing between these two, is not really ideal. Usually you'd have somebody defending and another, okay, I got the card key this time. Usually you'd have somebody defending and the other person doing the keys, so playing by yourself is not particularly ideal. There we go, so I just use the card key by doing that. Also using durability here is not particularly ideal either, because these guys just keep coming. You do get EXP for killing these guys, but the EXP you get is significantly less than the EXP you get for just completing the mission, so it's not really worth just like sitting there and delaying the amount of time it takes for you to finish a mission. I'm sorry, this probably looks very silly, me kiting these things around, but this is what I get for coming in here alone. I was playing with a friend, so I constantly had 2 people the whole time. There we go. We got it this time. And then you can also upgrade different abilities and skills that make those go faster. So I actually have like a lockpick on my character. So if I have like a physical door that I'm unlocking, I'm a lot faster than most other characters who haven't upgraded that skill. That's like a heal point. And then to basically get the reward from this game, you have to carry this little bulb out with you. It's kind of like, it's not like, it doesn't have the purpose of the little like bucket from Crystal Chronicles, but it kind of feels like that, where it's like one of the people have to carry this little thing around, and then occasionally you need to put the thing down to fight things to get them out of your way. I don't know if we'll see it on this one. There's also like optional bosses that you can go fight in these missions. I never got to the point that I was able to actually beat them. They're incredibly challenging, and I'll show you later when we're looking at the actual rewards to show you like how grindy this game gets. You do get different objectives in each room, so like in this case I do have defeat 6 enemies, which is the rooms where you do want to have your durability, which I am running low on durability, so my attacks are going to be dying out here pretty soon, unfortunately. The ammo boxes do help your durability, also give you ammo. I forget what this is for. I think the last enemy's up there. They also give you ammo, which you want to use. There are different like enemy types, so we've had all mummies so far, but this is like a ant here, and if you like shoot him in the butt, he's particularly weak there. I haven't really been doing too many different combos, but basically I have like an air combo that I can do, so like I can melee, and then that sends me in the air. I also have like an up-down combo to kind of knock enemies into or flip them over. And now my durability's out. I also just have like a standard like 4-hit combo there with like a stun at the end, and then a heavy hit. Let me see if I can do it. I didn't do it right. There we go. It's like a heavy hit like that. It's just like a 2-hit hit. And then I also have like a charge attack. Or no, that's like a dash attack a little bit. I'm trying to remember what caused the charge to happen. Is it back and Y? It's been a while. You know what? Maybe it's melee and then hold Y. Maybe not. I don't remember anymore. But yeah, it's like different inputs on the analog sticks while you're doing combos and stuff. It takes a while to get that stuff though. Most of the beginning of the game, you're just going to be doing this over and over again. And then you have the 2-hit combo. Not that. It's like this one is like you start the game with that as well. So it's like those 3-hit combos, and neither of them really chain into each other very well. And this is the issue with durability of just like you have to sit here and take forever to kill things. There's the end of the level, so I think we might be able to get out of here without too much trouble. Oh, so this is a special enemy, which you want to try to kill, which is going to be great with no durability, because that gives you like special item drops and stuff. I'm going to go ahead and eat some of this. Let's use some of this ammo up. So ideally what I want to do, honestly, right here, is go into this aiming mode and try to shoot him in the butt. It's kind of hard when you're playing by yourself because he's constantly wanting to come to you, but you can kind of get in there and make it work. The nice thing about like the weapons, even if they don't have durability, is they do still do a pretty good job stunning foes and knocking them over if you need to. Although I did find that like when I was playing online with other people who are using like the ranged attack weapons, it seemed very difficult for them to shoot people while I'm sitting here doing this, because headshots do matter. As you can see right there, I just got a bunch of headshots. The ants are a little different, where the headshots are dependent on the butt instead, so butt shots, I guess. But yeah, so it's just like it kind of just the melee characters kind of get in the way a little bit if you're trying to have a character be efficient with their ammo. I will say this game plays fine. I would not say it plays great. Also, I need to stop being in aiming mode. And I'm dying. Let me see if I can get out of aiming mode here real quick. There we go. And then heal. Okay. You do have a roll. It's not super effective though. Oops. Oops. It's not rare, or it's not typical that these guys spawn, so this is a little, oops. Actually, I do need health, though. It is a little more, rare that you get these guys, coming in here. Like, you typically wouldn't fight these enemies. Also, you wouldn't typically fight them on your own. Not that he's particularly hard or anything. The biggest thing is I just didn't conserve my durability. You can level up your durability for weapons. And it doesn't cost real money to repair them. And it's not a persistent durability. So like after this mission's done, let me see if I can drop. Yeah, I want the bigger stack of money. It's not a persistent durability. I need to get out of this aiming mode. Okay. Oh. So after we finish the mission, my durability will refill all on its own. We're just going to try to walk out of here. It's not going to work out, though. Okay. Alright. 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 There we go. Again, not really intended to be played on your own. One of the most frustrating things is like people are tempted to sit here and continue to fight those guys to get like extra EXP, but it's not really worth the time typically. So that's just kind of the mission structure. You just basically kind of go around rooms, kill stuff, has different objectives, basically kill things, move objects, and then eventually at the end when you get the relic, carry it all the way back. And then as a team, you can kind of work together to be like, hey, you know, I'm going to bring my upgrades that, you know, make me move fast with the relic, or I'm going to bring the upgrades that make me, you know, move objects better or hack objects better, things like that. But unfortunately, because if you play with random people, you really can't communicate that very well. So our durability in the bottom right, you can see our durability is all the way back up. We have a full set of ammo again, but my items I use in the bottom left-hand corner are gone. So there's like a pretty standard skill tree here. So these are like action skills. These are all like the actual combos you're doing here. And you can only pick one path as far as I can tell. So you have to choose between 2 different skills. One thing that I kind of wish was a little better with this is it doesn't really show you anything in terms of what this is. It just gives you a description of what the attack is. And it's kind of hard to tell what attack does what and how effective it's going to be. If you see in the bottom right, I do have like a reset, and I think that costs like a currency that eventually you do have to pay real money for. And then these are just like damage up, durability up. I haven't messed with the guns because the melee weapon really seemed like the major thing for the for this character. And then down here you can increase carrying speed, increase the like evading skills, stuff like that. So I mainly have built onto the attack stuff for this character. There are, in the shop, you can basically pay for currency to, I guess the best way to put it is to purchase points towards a weapon. So like in the laboratory here, I think it is, these are random weapons that are available at specific times. And you can spend those little like chips that were in the eShop to research towards these weapons. And then it's available for 167 hours, and you have that much time to build it. So you don't want to like just spend a bunch of money because if you don't, or spend a bunch of money without building it, because if you don't completely build it after a certain amount of time, the weapon actually goes away. So it's kind of shitty in that regard. And then the bottom right hand corner, there's like a 12-hour swap, and that says if you don't start building towards this weapon in the next 12 hours, it's going to swap in another set of weapons. I didn't really find this super useful, unfortunately. I didn't build anything, and it just didn't seem like a great way to get weapons. The big thing for getting weapons, and let me see if I can pull it up here. I forget which menu it is. You can upgrade your weapons as well using those same chips. And then, like when we fought that blue guy earlier, we got some weapon. I didn't see what weapon it was. Probably Kodachi. Who knows? No, Kodachi's not it because I already upgraded Kodachi. Let me see if I can find the menu. Oh, and here we can switch clothes. So I have a overalls, and then I have a white school uniform as well. And then I can also refill this if I wanted to. I have 111 heal elixirs. I'm pretty short on ammo. I use a lot of ammo boxes, unfortunately. I'm trying to remember where that menu is. Is it collectibles? Okay, so yeah, this seems to be the main way to get loot outside of using the like analysis chips to buy that stuff in the workshop that I showed you. Essentially, when you run each of these areas, you can see on the right side of the screen here, there's 4 slots. When you run each area, each route in the area represents an item. And so you need to complete each route once, basically. The problem being is that the routes are random, so you end up in cases where you say, hey, I have 4 of route B, but I have no route A and no route D. so it's a lot of just replaying areas and hoping you're getting the right routes. And then eventually you get the stuff on the left here. The steel is a upgrade currency. Analysis chips, I think analysis chips you can only use to make new weapons. Maybe that's what it was. So you can only use analysis chips to make new weapons, steel to upgrade weapons. And then you can also get costumes in here, power boosters, weapons in here. But, in the right side screen, this shows the level that it takes, or the level of that area you have to go through. It takes a long time. And, we played probably about 20 hours, 25 hours, and we got to, like, this area here. I got a sword that wasn't even better than the first sword that I got in the main story. Hello. Let's see if we can get this group to go. Let's see if Jackie Andrea comes with us. Or if she just ruins everything. It makes like a beeping noise. Okay. 2 left. If you don't ready up, it makes a beeping noise for the person who's not ready. It's like, brah, brah, brah. So it hopefully either gets them out of the room or makes them come over and ready up. But yeah, like I said, I was very surprised for a free-to-play Wii U game that got very little attention. Is not very good. And you know, there's a surprising amount of people playing this. Like 20 people is not a lot, but you know, I'd say consistently it's about 20 people, and you know, you have the ability to go in rooms and play together and stuff. I usually don't bother too much with these early on, although you can get items out of it. So I got the component box. So in this case, I think we got the exact same route, possibly. It depends on what we get in the second half of the area. So she's doing the hacking. I probably should have switched the mission, but it's too late. We might jump into a mission real quick before we finish this one. Oh, whoops, we gotta push the object. Whoops. Come on. Wait, why can't I push this? But yeah, we'll probably jump into another mission before we leave. Not finish it probably, or at least I'll cut the stream. I might finish the mission not to abandon these people, hopefully. But yeah, I think the combat, you know, it doesn't feel great, but I think it feels good enough. And I think if this game wasn't so grindy, it would be worth it. There's quite a, I don't want to say there's quite a few areas, but I think the difference, and also this game technically is kind of a mess frame rate wise, but I think the differences in, at least between level 1 and level 2 areas of each route, or the difference between the level 1 and level 2 areas is significant enough that, you know, each one has an identity, but isn't necessarily, you know, it's not like a PSO where every time you come in, it's going to be the same thing every time. Basically, it is slightly different, and as you go on, you get to, you know, play through new areas. I think I could maybe see an argument saying that they should have just thrown like all of the variations into all the different difficulty modes to add more variety, especially when you're like sitting here trying to kick. Especially when you're like sitting here trying to grind through the same levels over and over again. I think some variety would be nicer, especially when you get the same routes over and over again. Again, I've gotten many routes like 5 times in a row, and you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to get another item so I can get this dumb sword. There are some basic communication tools. He can say like, or one of those guys can say, hey, let me carry the relic. Just typically a good hint that they have a relic boost. Also can be like, hey, let me take care of obstacles, which can be a good hint that, you know, somebody has tools to take care of obstacles. But the thing is, you can only carry 2 tools on you at once, and there's like 4 different types of obstacles, I think, or maybe 5. So you can't really specify which ones you're good at, unfortunately. So it's not easy to just say like, hey, you know, leave this like, leave the, like, for me, leave the lock picking to me, like, don't worry about the other stuff, or you can do the other stuff, just leave the lock picking to me because I'm so much faster at lock picking, because I specialized in lock picking and upgraded my lock picking like all the way up, basically. There we go. So we'll see if they let us get out of here. If they're nice people, we'll get through here. This is a different route ending. The grind. The grind is the biggest thing. You know, I spent probably the last 5 hours of this game running this dungeon a bunch, along with like, you know, 2 other dungeons, and it's like the level up is just so slow. Like, let me see what level we are. Also, the game's kind of buggy. I'm hoping this doesn't glitch out right here. This looks like it might be glitching out. sometimes you'll end up on this screen and the game basically just crashes. And nobody gets any rewards. Not a single person. Because when I was playing with someone else, when this happened to one of us, it kicked everybody out of the room. And it looks like it might... Nope. So this is how the bug works. Basically, you respawn in the area and you're stuck here. And basically you're just stuck. So the whole mission was for nothing. That whole mission was for nothing. Oh. Nope. So stuff like that is a pain. And you know, and we'll go back to the screen here real quick, but if you look at the like path for getting weapons and stuff, it's not very exciting. It's just kind of... Well, let's see if we can get back in. Maybe the servers went down. Who can say? It's not very exciting, though. It's just kind of the same stuff. It's different colored outfits of the same outfit. I did see somebody with a unique outfit. I just don't know how they got it. But, you know, once I hit level 20 or so, or level 15, I forget which one it was, it just slowed down significantly. To the extent that it just... I knew it'd be another 5 hours before I could even grind out a new weapon or something. So, and then stuff like this happens. Maybe it's a connection issue. I don't know, but this seems like the behavior we had happen multiple times on us, where somebody just dies and the whole room explodes, and then you can't get connected back in for a while. I think you have to close the software and relaunch it. Or it might be that Final Fantasy 11 thing where it's like, oh, close the software and relaunch it. Only really that didn't really matter so much as it was just the time it took for you to close the application and relaunch it. Was the time it needed for the connection to reset, essentially. It feels alright, though. And I like the style a lot. I think there's a lot of potential in this game, or was, I guess I should say, because I doubt we'll ever see any kind of, you know, iteration on this. I'm surprised the game's even still online. I mean, it says 2015, so it's been, you know, at least 3 years since this thing was online. Yeah, at least 3 years. Surprised people are even playing it. Surprised, you know, maybe it's on Nintendo's servers, so maybe that's why it's, you know, still kicking around. They take it down for server maintenance. I don't know if they actually have to do anything. Doesn't look like we're getting back in, though. So, I think we'll just call it a night there. Fortunately, we only showed you the pyramid area. But there's, like, different areas. It's like a research facility kind of area, along with, like a Japanese castle, and the pyramid. That's kind of it. Those are kind of the 3 areas. But, you know, like I said, there's some variety to it. There's one where it's like, oh, now you go to the basement of the research facility. We didn't see any really, like, boss characters in those dungeons there, in that dungeon there. There are some, like, police officer zombies that have a lot of health. There's, like, you know, maniac chef zombies that have, like, knives and stuff that can do a lot of damage to you. So there is more variety than that dungeon had. That probably wasn't the greatest dungeon to show. But I would show you more, but apparently we're just not getting back in. So, yeah. I just wouldn't, it's just the grind. First 10 levels I think are great, but maybe not great. They're playable enough, but anything you look at doing in this game just seems so far out of reach that I can't imagine doing this without paying money. Even paying money, I can't imagine getting a lot of this stuff. So, yeah, I guess that's it. So I guess we'll finish up Ghost in the Shell next week. And then I'll have to plan on something. I'm going to guess it maybe will take about 30 minutes to an hour to finish that up, depending on how long those last missions are. It seems like the general mission length is like 15, 20 minutes, sometimes a little shorter. Yes, definitely more of a grind than 14. At least 14 has variety. That's the big thing. I can't imagine how much of a grind this will become based off what I have seen. Unfortunately, maybe there's some kind of curve that happens, but it's a free to play game, so that they want you to spend money on upgrading equipment, like real money. But yeah, so we'll finish up Ghost in the Shell. I'm undecided on what we'll play next. I'll have to find something to play between that on that stream for Ghost in the Shell. Maybe we'll play more Gunstar Superheroes. I don't know. I'm starting to doubt my ability to beat Gunstar Superheroes on hard. I'm not that far in the game, but it's challenging, to say the least. And blue isn't that different than red, I'm finding, in a way that's like, I mean, I guess it was probably just, expected, since blue is not that different from red in the original Gunstar Heroes. But they have different weapon types, and I think blue has worse weapons than red, I feel like. I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm undecided on what we'll stream next. Also, I'm finding that apparently, like, playing region-specific PlayStation 2 games and stuff is a bit more complicated than I expected. So we may end up just buying a Japanese PS2. Because it sounds like if you want to play region-specific PS2 games on like an NTSC or a different region's console, you have to use like a external drive and load like an ISO on there. And I know it's dumb that it would matter to me, but I'd rather just use the disc, I feel like, rather than worry about downloading disc images. I mean, I would like to do that eventually so I could play fan translated stuff on PS2, but it's not my concern right now. I just want to play Japanese games, so we might end up getting a Japanese PS2. We'll see. And then my Japanese PS1 games can look good rather than just S-video, because my PS1 is not really set up for great video quality. So yeah, guess that's it. Thanks for coming. Hope you enjoyed Lost Reavers. I enjoyed Lost Reavers from what I played, but fortunately just not enough to keep going. Yeah. More like I said in my 2018 article, more action RPGs with dungeons. I want that. Give it to me. Don't give me Destiny. I need to play Destiny at some point. It's just not happening right now. But yeah, so I want to play more Sword Art Online as well. That actually has dungeons and stuff too, which is nice. So, that's it. Thanks for coming. Video, Team Innocent video coming at the end of the month. So look forward to that. I'm committing to it. End of the month. Bye.